everyone, welcome to Mathematics 8. Our lesson in this video is all about converse, inverse, and contrapositive of a statement. Before we start with our discussion, let us identify our learning objectives. First, let us determine the inverse, converse, and contrapositive of an if-then statement. Next, let us illustrate the equivalences of the statement and its contrapositive and the converse and inverse of a statement. In this lesson, always remember that an if-then statement can be rearranged. Given a conditional statement, we can create related sentences, namely converse, inverse, and contrapositive. They are related sentences because they are all based on the original conditional statement. Given this conditional statement, if you have your meal stub, then you can eat at the breakfast buffet. Let us write its converse, inverse, and contrapositive statement. In this conditional statement, the hypothesis is you have your meal stub. The conclusion, you can eat at the breakfast buffet. To form the converse of the conditional statement, interchange the hypothesis and the conclusion. The converse statement now is, if you can eat at the breakfast buffet, then you have your meal stub. To form the inverse of the conditional statement, take the negation of both the hypothesis and the conclusion. Negations can be no, not, cannot, do not, or any word that can make the statement negative. The inverse statement now is, if you don't have your meal stub, then you cannot eat at the breakfast buffet. To form the contrapositive of the conditional statement, interchange the hypothesis and conclusion of the inverse statement. Going back to the conditional statement, if you have your meal stub, then you can eat at the breakfast buffet. The contrapositive statement now is, if you cannot eat at the breakfast buffet, then you don't have your meal stub. The next table will help you to remember the difference of the three statements. Remember that in the conditional statement denotes if P, then Q. Therefore, we have for the converse, if Q, then P. Inverse, if not P, then not Q. Contrapositive, if not Q, then not P. To better understand the three statements, let us analyze the next example. We have the conditional statement, if the typhoon is signal number 2, then there is no class. The hypothesis in this conditional statement is the typhoon is signal number 2. Conclusion, there is no class. Remember the table, we have converse, if Q, then P. Therefore, the converse statement is, if there is no class, then the typhoon is signal number 2. For the inverse statement, we have, if not P, then not Q. Therefore, the inverse statement is, if the typhoon is signal number 2, then there is a class. For the contrapositive statement, we have, if not Q, then not P. If there is a class, then the typhoon is not signal number 2. Look at the conclusion. Since it is already in a negative form, when you negate it, it will become positive. Take note that if the conditional statement is true, then the contrapositive is also logically true. If the converse is true, then inverse is also logically true. Now that you know the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of an if-then statement and illustrating the equivalence of a statement and its contrapositive as well as converse and inverse. You can now proceed to the different activities in your module.